All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live all over your internets, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. This is the world famous Jonesy and Brown show. That is Mike Jones. I am John Brown. Welcome to the show. Remember, you can download this and all your favorite podcasts from us. Just go to bitwsports.com. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at BITW Sports or at Jonesy and Brown. Mike Jones, we're undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Undefeated football.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Jones, we've been doing this for a couple of seasons now. We've won a bunch of season openers. And when we've won those season openers, when we come on and do the next show, when we do the show afterwards, I always talk about the fact that we're undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
I like to revel in overreaction. I believe that's what fans do. I am a fan. So I am feeling good. Our Eagles beat the Lions 38-35. I think there are a couple of ways you can look at that game. And I know you, being the analytical person that you are, you, the fan of nuance, the fan of perspective, the fan of multiple takes and opinions and views, I know you feel some sort of way about that game.
So I'm gonna start with a question.
Okay.
Of all the ways you say there are multiple ways to look at that game. Of all of those different ways, how many of them include being honest?
I think they're all honest. But I think
Okay, so let's stick with that. Let's stay there.
Okay.
No, let's stay there.
Is up for question, but I think they're all honest.
All right, let's stay there for a second. So,
okay,
honesty. How did the defensive front look to you?
How did the defensive front look to me?
Mm-hmm.
I believe there is cause for concern.
Okay.
I think I will say, if you want to start with the defense.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
Okay. It was a little shaky. That defensive front was a little shaky.
So honestly, how did the secondary make you feel?
I will say this.
Just quick reaction. How'd you feel about them?
Wasn't as bothered as I was with the defensive front.
Okay. How'd you feel about Gannon?
I believe in one game he did not necessarily quell my concerns from last season. I did not come into this game. I did not finish that game feeling like, all right, you know what? It's going to be all right. Everything's fine. We fixed it.
We're good. All right. That's all I needed to know. All right. Next question.
All right.
How did you feel about the offensive line?
There were some definite protection issues.
Okay.
That was pretty glaring. There were way too many times when you're just seeing guys get to your quarterback just unblocked, unabated,
So next question then. How did you feel about the wide receivers?
Well, the one that we just got over.
No, I said wide receivers, plural, with the S at the end. Receivers.
Okay. Look, this is the answer to your question.
Mm-hmm.
The wide receiver that we got over the summer was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And he was good enough in a way where I am not necessarily concerned with the fact that the other wide receivers did not put up big numbers. where I'm like, okay, if you like AJ Brown had what 155 yards, 10 catches,
Mm-hmm.
155 yards, was catching it over the middle, was in the slot, was everywhere, catching downfield in the he was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you know what? The Heisman Trophy winner from 2 years ago didn't have a catch, 4 targets. Not could see why that would bother somebody. Didn't really bother me.
So how many receptions did? So you just said it. How many receptions did Smith have?
Smith, how many catches did he have?
How many
He ain't
catches?
had, he ain't had none. He didn't have any.
How many catches did Quez have?
Quez didn't have any.
How many catches did Pascal have?
One.
So one receiver had a really good game.
Yes.
The other three receivers combined for
And it
one
didn't catch much.
catch.
Yeah.
One catch.
Yep.
Not they didn't catch much. They had one catch
Mm-hmm.
and 7 yards.
Yes.
I ask you again, how did you feel about the wide receivers, plural?
How did I feel about I feel like the answer that I gave has not changed. In the sense that, you know what, after one game, because I feel after one game, their number one wide receiver was so good that I am not convinced that I should say, I am convinced that there will be opportunities to have better games down the line.
Okay.
If we are in game 2, game 3, game 4, game 5, and you are still asking me questions like that, then I will see my answer will change.
Okay.
But after game 1, yes, I believe that Brown was good enough on Sunday that I am not concerned with the lack of productivity from the other wide receivers in this one game.
Okay. And how did you feel about the quarterback?
I thought the quarterback was fine. I thought the quarterback was fine. I believe that, yes, there are. If you want to look objectively at this game, was it a perfect game? No. Was there cause for concern? We're 8 minutes into the show, and you brought up a lot of causes for concern. When you list the causes of concern, the quarterback is not at the top of the list.
Oh, I just got to him last. We haven't decided he's not at the top of the list yet.
I've decided he's not at the top of my list. If he's at the top of your list, we could get into that. We could talk about that.
Okay. So let's put it this way then. So with all those other concerns, all those things we talked about, different positions, let's say hypothetically, Justin Herbert's your quarterback. Do you put a higher ceiling on this team? You think the ceiling is the same? If Justin Herbert's your quarterback, you think this team is a Super Bowl contender?
Same scenario, just Justin Herbert.
Everything else is the same. You just swap out quarterbacks on their rookie contracts.
Then, no, I don't believe this team is better off with Justin Herbert.
You don't believe that team is better?
No, because of everything that you said that set up that question. Is still the same. Then no.
All right. So this is why I got to the quarterback last.
Okay.
I'm hearing a lot of the quarterback was fine. I don't feel that way.
Why?
One, he can't go left. And I mean that from the sense, not just that he doesn't throw as good of a ball when he's moving to his left, which we all already know. What I mean is he genuinely doesn't use the receiver that sets up to his left as well. Period. So last year, when Devonta Smith was playing the role that AJ Brown is not playing, he saw a lot more targets, a lot more activity.
Mm-hmm.
This year, he's moved to the opposite side of the field. I wonder how well Jalen Hurts can use that side of the field that he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
I I heard reports in training camp that he was throwing to AJ Brown a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We got to the game and he threw to AJ Brown a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want a guy who can spread the ball around.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he made some really good throws. He made some really good throws that game.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them were to AJ Brown.
Yep.
But there were also some balls that were not so well placed. I think about one to AJ Brown. I believe it was on the left side, as I was just mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
And the ball is well behind AJ Brown where he has to reach back to catch it, where if it's placed in front of him, he's probably walking in the end zone with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I have a lot of concerns about the quarterback. Because, and then here's the other thing. Happy feet, before I get to my why, there where he's leaving the pocket early and everyone's saying, oh, well, he's being blitzed. They're throwing the house at him. Your better quarterbacks in the league, your quarterbacks who are considered Super Bowl caliber quarterbacks, one thing they all generally do well is see that blitz pre-snap. And I'm not buying, oh, well, he's young, he's got a lot to learn. He's one of the most experienced quarterbacks to come out the draft in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He got better coaching at Alabama and Oklahoma than most prospects get coming out of college. He sat his full rookie year. Last year was not his rookie year. It was his first full year as a starter. He was not a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
You see guys like Joe Burrow, they pick that stuff up. You don't see teams throwing the house at Joe Burrow, blitzing him because he picks it up. He sees it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Herbert sees the blitz coming. We're not just talking about Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and the elite of the elite. These young guys are coming in and being able to do these things too. So we keep saying, give this kid time. How much time are we going to give him? Because in another year, he's going to be looking for a new contract, big money, or you're looking to move him out. We need to see real progress from this kid this year. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying there is a lot left to be desired if we're talking about a real playoff winning quarterback.
No, I see what you're saying. I feel like in what I noticed in Sunday's game, what I feel like what happened in Sunday's game was that the offense was able to make some adjustments. As they made some adjustments, there was success. Was it a complete 180? No. Like you raised a concern about throwing to the left side of the field. I'm not going to dispute that.
Mm-hmm.
However, Jalen was able to get whatever he wanted on the right side of the field. And I feel like as now that defensive coordinators have a little bit of tape now, they have a game's worth of regular season tape on Jalen Hurts. They're going to try to take that right side of the field away from him and force him to throw to the left.
And see, but that's exactly why this is my concern, because it's not just something that teams will have from the tape this year.
And I'm not.
Hold on. No, hear me out. Hold on, because all we have to do is go back as far as the last the one playoff game from last year where the Bucks sent pressure from his right side, forced him to go left, where he's either got to come back across the field to get to the right side of the field or throw to the left side of the field, and he looked terrible as a passer.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things I want to see improvement at.
Yeah, yes, I understand that. And what all I'm saying is,
and one game through, I haven't seen it.
Yes, because Detroit wasn't good enough of a team to make that happen. We're still one game into the season. So, yes, I understand. I'm not saying you shouldn't be concerned. I'm not saying your concerns are wrong. But what I'm saying is Detroit wasn't the squad that was going to make that happen.
But what I'm saying is, okay, Detroit is sending the house at him, flushing to his right because he's not. What I'm asking is, why isn't he picking up that blitz pre-snap?
That's a good
question. That's what I'm asking.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Real quick, got a comment though. Your boy Bryant said when he hears can't go left, all he could think about is from Jonesy in a pickup game when you were checking him.
You couldn't go left.
Bryant couldn't go left?
Couldn't go left.
Bryant couldn't go left. That's what you're saying.
Never saw a shot he didn't like, but he couldn't go left.
That's terrible. First of all, one, you would never have a game that well defensively against me. But two, if you did, I'd never admit it publicly. Like ever. Ever.
Oh, ever. Man.
Ever. Anyway, look. Bro, we got to move on because we got to guess. We got to guess and we got to bring her in here. Now, you know I like to impress you by going into my personal Rolodex of close personal friends. Mm-hmm. This person isn't really one of them because I just met this person like this year. I just reached out to them. But I've been a fan of her work. She's got a really dope podcast called the Sports and Stilettos Podcast. Now, I'll admit, it was the name of the podcast that got me, that caught my attention.
It's good marketing.
It is. I heard Sports and Stilettos. I'm like, all right. Let's call this up. Let's listen to this. Then I found out she was from Philly. And I'm like, okay, she's 2 for 2. So I wanted to bring her in here so we could talk a little sports and get to know her. So, ladies and gentlemen, our guest this week is your host, Breezy, a.k.a. Brianna, host of the Sports and Stilettos podcast. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming on the Jonesy and Brown Show. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. I'm in mom mode, so I'm sorry. But
man, it's all good.
Oh, you're good.
You know?
If you gotta mute your mic to yell at some kids, we don't mind. Even if it's all good. Trust me, if you go into our archives, you will see me.
Oh yeah, a lot of that.
You heard me mute the mic and yell at some kids. Sometimes I might forget to hit the mute button. Sometimes I might think I hit the mute button, but I didn't. I understand. I'm not here to judge you on that. But thank you for coming on. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Where are you from? Where exactly are you from?
I'm from West Philly.
West Philly. Everybody from West Philly. Everybody we get on.
No, listen. When people say they're from West Philly, they're either from like right outside of West Philly, or they're really from West Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a 50-50 shot. I'm from West Philadelphia.
From West Philly, okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
Well, I went to school in the suburbs,
but
moved back here. Gosh, 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But grew up, like my grandmother, my entire family lives in West Philly. So summers, weekends, like that's where I was.
So West Philly girl.
Yeah.
At what point did the love for sports start?
Since I was young. I grew up loving playing basketball. That was the first one. And thought I was going to be, the female version of Allen Iverson. That didn't work out too well.
Mm-hmm.
But found a new love in football and been hooked ever since.
Okay. Who's your favorite athlete in basketball and football?
Brian Dawkins, hands down.
Oh,
No, there to me, well, for
Oh.
me personally, there's no comparison.
Mhm. Is he the greatest Eagle of all time in your opinion?
Yes. Yes.
What is it about B Doc that drew you to him?
The aggressiveness. Everything
No.
that he did it with 150%, and it was just lights out every single time he stepped on the field. And that's I'm a defensive girl. I love heads on platters every week, and I love asses getting kicked. So, that's that's what I like to see.
All right, do you rank Dawkins ahead of Palomalu, Ed Reed, safeties like that of that era?
Well, I didn't watch a lot of them play, but yes, I do. I do rank him up there with those two great safeties. So, yeah, he's definitely, top 5, top 3 in there somewhere.
Okay. All right. If B Dawk is first, who would be second?
Athlete all time for me, or just
Athlete all time.
probably Allen Iverson. To me, same grittiness, same attitude every single time he stepped on the court. That attitude is what draws me to certain players.
I hear you. Now, where were you in 2001 when Sixers are in the final, NBA Finals? Where were you?
I was home watching the games.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I tell you, I used to get a whiteboard. No lie, I used to get a whiteboard. I used to sit in front of the TV, and I used to record their stats, everything they did, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, end of the game. Because
so you were all the way locked in.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Nice.
But then I would get clowned at school because I knew what I was talking about. Now, people, most people didn't like that.
Was that mostly because you were a woman? It was like
Oh,
this girl thinks she knows sports more than us, and then you just drop that knowledge.
Yep. Same with wrestling. Grew up watching WWF. The Rock, Stone Cold. Those are my guys.
See,
grew up doing that on at recess, get in trouble, the whole shebang.
She's a wrestling fan. She's a wrestling fan. Jonesy, she's 3 for 3 right now.
Find out you're giving people the people's elbow, giving out the people's elbow at lunchtime.
Oh, absolutely.
Why did we not have this woman on this show sooner? Why did it take this long? She a wrestling fan too. She likes B-Dog. She likes Iverson. All right. Outside of the Super Bowl, because that's everybody. That's the most obvious choice. What is your favorite Philly sports memory?
Outside of the Super Bowl, dang, what is my next one? Okay, could I do so it's related to the Super Bowl, but it's not like the actual Super Bowl.
Okay, what you got?
Okay. So my favorite moment was watching, or no, I'll say this. It was Brian Dawkins getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Nice.
That's my second favorite Philadelphia sports moment, like hands down. Like that speech made me cry. Because I was like, wow, like there's so many people that can relate to this player on and off the field that it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
Nice. All right, so let's talk about your podcast a little bit. Now, how long have you had this podcast? How long have you done it?
This is my 4th season. So I started, 2019? 2018? That season, I think. Something like that. But yeah.
So what motivated you to start?
Other people. They were just like, you're the person. I'm the person at the party in the corner arguing with the guy who wants to talk about football. Like that's me. And everywhere I go to the bar, go to like anywhere, I hear people talking sports. I'm like, oh yeah, like da 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 da. Yeah. It's just a place that is my comfort, So when I started it, I was in undergrad. I was doing online courses, and I told myself, oh, when I graduate, I'll do it. And, I just kept seeing all of these signs like, oh, start a podcast for free. Oh, use this app, do it for free. Da, 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 da. So I'm like, all right, God, like enough. I get it, you know? So I took a couple of weeks and really tried to figure out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And just did it.
What were people say to you when you said, okay, you know, when you finally made a decision, you're like, all right, I'm going to do this. You know, people have been telling, I'm assuming people have told you that, you know, you had a good voice, you had strong opinions, like you're a natural at this, you can do this. So when you finally did it, what were people saying to you?
They were like, oh my God, I didn't think that it was going to be like this. You know, they're like, you know, I really like your perspective on the game. And, you know, I guess the way that I explained certain things and the things that I looked at was very appealing. So, you know, it was overall a very good welcome to start off.
Okay, so let's be honest about something. So in sports talk, Philly as well as kind of nationally, it's mostly a lighter hue than the three of us, and it's largely male dominated.
Yep.
What kind of challenges have you had to deal with while producing your podcast and getting into this field?
Every challenge that you could possibly think of. You know, the first one obviously being a woman. You know, women don't know sports. I don't want a girl telling me how to look at a game. I don't want a girl explaining to me how you know, so and so is going to play. And I'm also into sports betting, so you know, there was that challenge. I don't want a girl telling me what to put my money on. But if you're losing and I'm giving you a winner, then what are you complaining for? Like, the purpose is to make money. So I do my research. I have a process that I utilize every week. So, you know, and it's not like I'm not betting the same thing. You
gotta hate yourself. If this woman is telling you how to make money and you're making money.
Nah, I don't want to make that money.
Right. You don't want to use my pick, but the picks
I don't want
to they lose. You know what I mean? So it's like there's always those guys that are like, I don't want a woman telling me anything about a sport that she hasn't played. But women in this industry are starting to take over, and there's not a lot of people that like it.
They're not, but well, let me ask you a question, because I think Jonesy and I, we kind of roll in a circle of creators, journalists, and we talk to them. We're in a couple of group chats, and I feel like a lot of times, especially with Black women, there's a need to protect, but not necessarily be overbearing.
Right.
Like, you see it, and you know, and you know when it's obvious the lane they're trying to go down. When they're trying to discredit you because you're a Black woman, whether it's because you didn't play the game or you don't have the experience, and you kind of want to jump in and say, hey, you know, back off, without making it seem like you need me,
right,
to do it for you. Like how hard is that? Like for you, what do you need?
Well, for me, like there's a lot that I can handle. There's a lot. I don't take no BS. I don't. Like, if you're gonna discredit me, then you need to bring receipts. Because if you try to pull some wool over my eyes or something like that, like, I'm gonna blow you out the water, and it's that simple. And then you'll get blocked, and then you'll be talking to yourself. So there's a lot of guys, especially with you know, within the Eagles Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and then as well as gambling Twitter, that know me personally, that will step in if they feel like things are getting a little out of hand. And, you know, a lot of these people are very well respected in these communities. So it, you know, it gives me a sense of comfort knowing that if things get out of hand, you know, I have people that will step in, but 9 times out of 10,
You got
it doesn't get that far.
Yeah. See, Jonesy knows, and I've said this before. I for a long time, and I'm trying to get better at this. I am a purveyor of the smoke.
Mhm.
I like
This is crazy.
I,
Okay.
I like to get into it with people. So it like for me for a long time, you come at somebody that I know, then I gotta come at you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's how and I'm getting better at this because I was that person who would go hours on end arguing with somebody on Twitter who doesn't have a profile picture, and it's
Yeah.
just that was me. I admit that, I'm getting better at it. But I feel like I had to tune it back because sometimes that's not what people ask for. And Jonesy Jonesy will be the person to text me while he sees me on Twitter
Oh God.
like getting into it with it, he'll just like, bro, what are you doing?
It's not worth. It's not worth the energy.
It's
Yeah, and
not.
most of the time it's not. It's really not. Because you know, you're arguing with somebody who either has a player as their profile picture or they don't
Hmm.
have a profile picture and they're just on there to just rile people up.
Yeah, they're using that anonymity to say whatever random foolishness they can think of, the stuff they would never have any inkling of saying to people in person
They,
Right.
they
because of the
yeah,
ridicule they'd be subject to. But
they
being
do it.
online, being
Yeah,
anonymous lets them, you know.
they do it for people like me because
Hmm.
I fall for it every time. You know, I'd be the one to get into it back and forth. And look, man, my picture is my picture. You see me, so you know if you arguing with me, you
Right.
arguing with the guy, and you know that's me.
Yeah.
But I'm getting better at it. I'm trying
And let's
every
be
day.
honest, how many of the people you're arguing with really even actually understand what they're talking about?
None of them. That's what makes it fun.
Oh
All right,
my goodness.
but so let me ask you what. So you've had your platform now for a couple of years. You said you've been doing this now for about four seasons. What has been the biggest benefit to having this platform that you have, being able to establish your voice in this city, in this market, and now you know with the growth, just basically like you know anywhere you want to go. What has been the biggest benefit?
The networking. I have met some absolutely amazing people in these last few years. And a lot of them are people that I would have never thought I would have that would give me the time of day, honestly. But, you know, when you get comfortable doing something,
Hmm.
it attracts other people. And that's really what I ride on, you
Mhm.
know, networking and just being comfortable in my skin and talking sports. Like that's me. You know, you see me out at the grocery store,
Mhm.
you ask me how what I think about the Eagles, you're going to get a sports answer. You're going to get that answer. Like there's no place that I will not talk sports. And I love that about me.
No, we like it too. We 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 like it too. That's why I have to make sure that I'm listening to the Sports and Stilettos podcast with your host Breezy every week.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
now you talked a little bit about sports betting. You touched on that a couple of minutes ago. What made you decide to incorporate that into your show?
Well, I started sports betting, gosh, 2016, and I was betting on college football. Had no idea what I was doing. No idea. It was absolutely terrible. I was losing money.
Hmm.
It was just bad because I was listening to other people. So, you know, for beginners, make sure you have somebody who is actually putting in the work and not just saying, "Oh, my guy said to play this." No. That's
Yeah,
not how it works.
everybody's got a guy, everybody's got a
Yeah.
hunch,
Yeah.
but
So,
almost
no.
none of them have research.
Mhm.
Exactly. But I started getting in touch with a few other people, um, picking their brains and once I figured out, what kind of worked for me, it was like, I might as well just talk about it because it's sports related. It's something that I do. I spend my hard-earned money on it. I still work full time. So this is, my podcast is not my sole focus. So, I work full time. It's my hard-earned money. It's not sponsored by anybody, like nothing. So if I lose a bet that I put $50 on, like that's $50 out of my pocket too. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I love college football. I watch football from Thursday to Monday, and people get cursed out if they call me while a game is on. It's as simple as that. I literally have a do not disturb focus group for when football is on.
So are you only betting?
This is 4 for 4. She's batting 1,000 right now. She's batting 1,000. This has been like the perfect guess right now.
So sticking with this betting thing though, are you only betting football? Or are you getting to other sports, baseball, basketball?
I just started betting baseball this summer, which is not
How's
easy.
that been? Not at all.
It's horrible. It is absolutely
not easy at all.
It is the worst sport to bet on in the history of sports betting. Like it is bad. And I learned that you should not bet every day on baseball. It's not worth it. Basketball, I learned a lot about researching and things to look at, trends, things like that during the NBA season last year. So I do bet on basketball as well. But I watch more football than anything else.
What would you say to someone like a beginner? I'm gonna be real with you. I would be that beginner because I just had this thing about losing money that just really it hurts my soul, and I'm afraid of it. I don't like if I was just getting into it, how would you help me? I need that good peer pressure.
So if you're just getting into sports betting, I would say the best thing to do is to, I guess, have an income for sports betting. Like something completely separate than like, your account that you pay your bills with, like almost like a savings account, strictly for depositing into a sports book. Because what I found out over the years is that a lot of people will like bet the house on something, and when they lose, they're devastated because they just lost everything. And it's like, well, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Nobody told you to bet the house. That was your choice. There's something called bankroll management that I learned as well. And that's pretty much like only betting what you're okay with losing. So right now, like my bankroll management, like the most that I will put on something, if I feel super, super confident in it, is $50. That is the absolute most that I will put on something. Any other play that I run, it's like $15 or less.
Okay.
So it's like
you got to know what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, you have to be comfortable with losing because you're not always going to win. It's gambling. You're relying on other people to win for you, and these athletes are human as well. You can't predict injury, you can't predict blowouts, you can't predict any of these things that happen during games. So you have to be comfortable with losing a certain amount of money when you place your bet.
How angry are you when you lose? If you lose?
I used to get really frustrated. Like I'm like, F this whole team, like I'm done, like it's over. I got okay with losing when it's terrible. I put out a Miles Sanders parlay. I think it was last season. And it was a game that he eventually got hurt in. And I was dragged. Like I was dragged through whatever you want to call it for a couple of days after that bet lost. Cause I put like $25 on it, my money, I didn't tell it. I just said, this is what I like. Bet responsibly.
And you see Right,
Yeah, he ended up.
that's me right there, losing $25. You see me on my live, full soggy face crying. I lose $25. I'd be cursing too. I understand.
Yeah, but
I understand.
again, it goes back to bankroll management. You have to be comfortable with your bet losing if it does.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't like losing.
But
But
I know, right? And it seems so like
oh
you,
no,
you
if you
talk
hear me
about
about me betting, I knew I was gonna win. If I don't know I'm gonna win,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna sit it out.
this is here's the rub, because I follow Breezy. Also,
Mm-hmm.
shout out to my man Javon Alford. Shout out to Aton Shander. You know, y'all are three people I know, three people I follow, three people I honestly consider myself friends with. I know, well, you know, Breezy, I know I just met you. I know this is really outside of DMs and inboxes. This is the first time we've really had a conversation. But
Right.
I have followed you for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
so y'all be having so much fun talking about the bets when y'all hit, and I'm on the outside looking in. I'm like, yo, they doing all right.
But see, listen, and
I should give this
that's
a
what
try.
gets people in trouble though. That's what gets people, they see all of these winning tickets. They see all of these, you bet $300, you're hitting for $4,000. And that's not an everyday thing. And I don't think that's what a lot of people understand. You have to lose in order to win. Like winning is not every day. I think there was a time I hit on every bet that I placed for like 4 or 5 days straight.
It's a nice little run.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I made a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went ice cold for 2 weeks. I lost every bet that I placed, I lost.
First of all,
and I'm like, I don't even like, why is God punishing me? Like, I thought I was a winner. Like, what is this?
Let me win $4,000.
Right.
I'm retiring from social. You'll never see me again.
Yeah, right.
No, well, when you see me again, and I spent the $4,000. But while I had the money in my hand, oh yeah, I'm out. I'm retired.
Right.
Do you go to like casinos or anything? You mess with casinos, or you just do sports betting?
I don't go to casinos. I went to Live Casino actually not too long ago. I think maybe 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. It was the first time I've been in there. It was a beautiful casino. I don't know how to play cards, or I don't know how to like do blackjack or like anything like that. So I kind of stay away from those, but I'll play like the penny slot machines or something like that.
Jonesy, what about you? You a casino guy?
Nah, not.
Okay.
The only good thing about going to the casino is while you play, you drink for free.
Yeah, that is true.
That is true. That is true too. Now,
although it's not really free.
Listen, as long as you're playing,
as long as they're bringing it to you while you're,
I'm still giving them money.
Yeah,
I'm still giving them money.
I'll admit, I'm a fugazi casino guy. My wife is more of a casino person than me, because once again, I don't like to lose money.
Right.
So I'm the type of person, as soon as I hit on anything, I'm ready to stop. I'm like, all right, let's
good
go.
discipline.
Exactly. I'm like, as soon as I hit, like, whoa, I just won $15. I've been here 20 minutes. Casino trip over. Let's go get the car. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
But nonetheless, I mean, it's still it's still that mentality,
Yeah.
Just being afraid to lose. But one day I'll do it. I'll do it. But look, let's talk a little. Let's talk the game itself. We're 1-0. We're undefeated. Where do you yes? Where do you stand? I'm excited because I got an undefeated football team. I was just here last season.
I feel good. I feel good. And I said this during the off season. Even after, once we got AJ Brown, once we made all of these moves, I was like, There's something about this season that feels special to me. Can't explain it. It just feels like it's going to be a good season. One of the biggest things I think going into the season that a lot of people don't realize is with Jalen Hurts, it's the first season that he's had stability since he was in high school. Since then, he's had different coordinators, different coaches, changed schools, different all kinds of stuff. This is the first time that he has been second year, same everything, just added another wide receiver. And I think that speaks volumes to what this season is going to be like for him. Mm-hmm. So I feel good being 1-0. Too many points for me, coming from Detroit, but whatever, a win is a win.
So where would you put your confidence level going into week 2?
Going into week 2, I would say my confidence level is probably at an 8.
8.
So you expect to beat Minnesota?
Yes.
No fear of Justin Jefferson?
No.
I like it. See.
So
because
casual.
Because great players can still lose.
Absolutely.
I take nothing away from Justin Jefferson. He is an amazing player. He is. Mm-hmm. You can't take that away from him. But as a team, I think we can beat them. And I have no fears on that.
Even with and this might be a bigger factor than Justin Jefferson, but how are you more concerned with the Jalen Reagor revenge game scenario? Jalen Reagor has vowed to come in and and take revenge because he feels wronged by the Eagles after his triumphant career here. He had so much success here. Now he's vowed revenge.
Is Reagor even getting on the field?
Probably not. He's been there for 35 seconds. Like, I highly doubt they're going to put him on the field because if they do, he's going to get routed. So it doesn't even matter. But I think it would be a mistake to put Jalen Reagor on the field in Philadelphia. It would be detrimental.
I heard that statement and it was hilarious to me.
It like revenge for what?
Like what do you want revenge for?
You played bad here. We did nothing. We did nothing. You have revenge for a team who kept putting you out on the field, even though you played like crap. They kept giving you chances. They rearranged the offense to make sure that you got the ball. But you want revenge against us because we traded you? No.
He came to a situation when he came to the Eagles. He came to a team desperate for a change at the wide receiver position.
Yeah. He was part of that track team that they got that year.
This is the first round draft pick who predated the Heisman Trophy winner, who predated the best receiver in for the Titans. So he was there. It's not like, like the opportunities weren't there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So for him, that whole thing, that was probably the funniest thing I saw about this game today. And then Breezy and I saw your tweet. That's why I had to make sure I threw that in there.
Yeah. Because it's to me, it's dumb and it's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. Like you're trying to create something that's not there. Like you want I really want to know, you want revenge for what? This organization gave you every opportunity to thrive. And you didn't. It's a business at the end of the day. If you're not contributing to the winnings of this organization, you got to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
I want to backtrack a little bit because we moved on kind of quickly. What you saw from Jalen Hurts last week, does that give you the impression that we're going to see the improvements this season that we heard he was making all off season?
Yes. I think he has, again, it comes with being comfortable. And I think adding AJ Brown to this offense makes him even more comfortable with throwing the ball. And I think that's what a lot of people wanted to see. They wanted to see that passer in him. And they wanted the deep balls. I mean, you saw this man throw. He had what, 250 yards passing, something like that. 54-yard bomb to AJ Brown. I mean, and that window was like this big.
Oh, that was a perfectly placed ball.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that speaks to how comfortable he is in this offense now. Now you can trust the people that you're throwing to, that they're going to catch the ball. They're going to be where they need to be, and they're good, and they're going to catch them.
So I think that answers the question, buddy.
It does answer the question.
Jalen Hurts for MVP. You heard it here first.
Might as well throw a couple bucks on it. Why not?
See.
I'll be honest, you all sound a little bit more confident in him as a passer than I am.
I mean, look, he still has it's something that he has to improve on. You know, when he got drafted here, accuracy was something that I noticed that he lacked a little bit. And I wanted to see him progress and improve in that. And I think that, again, it comes back to being comfortable where you are and who you're throwing to. You know, the Eagles have one of the best offensive lines in football, if not the best. So you're a passer behind that line. You know that you'll have time to get the ball down the field or get the ball to where it needs to go. And I think each week he's going to improve on that.
I just feel like at the very least, Jalen Hurts played well enough to keep looking at him.
Yeah.
You know,
we're not going to bench him for Gardner Minshew.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
It's not going to happen. The only way Gardner Minshew is going to see the field is if we're blowing a team out and we're up 45-3 in the fourth quarter. That's the only way Gardner Minshew is going to see the field this season.
Jonesy, I had a coworker tell me, and I thought of you when this happened, because of something that you always say. I had a coworker tell me they were on the train after the game, and there were people talking about the way, because Hurts ran so much and his decision to run so much, maybe it's time to start looking at Gardner Minshew. And I told this coworker, under no uncertain terms, so I want you to hear me. I want you to listen to me. Those people are idiots. And what do you say about fans? What do you say about most fans? Or I shouldn't say most fans. What do you say about certain fans?
I say fans are idiots all the time.
Fans are idiots. That's what that is.
And it's nothing personal, but that desire to support your team can sometimes overwhelm logic. Yeah. And for most fans who use sports as an escape, it's very easy to want to fall into that escapism where you ignore logic, you suspend belief, and just go for it. But yeah, and I get, because I'm, like I said, I have questions. We all have the question about whether or not Hurts' style of play can win until someone wins playing that way. But Gardner Minshew has all the arm strength problems Jalen Hurts has. Plus, he doesn't have the other skill sets Hurts does have. So what are we really talking about? He's an NFL backup. He's not the answer.
Look. That's just narrative, and I feel like this is the city that will always want the backup quarterback in the game.
Now, I will admit, last season there was a game that Gardner Minshew started, and I was curious to see not what Minshew looked like, because I knew Minshew wasn't the guy. I was curious to see what Sirianni's offense looked like when he played with a quarterback who plays under center. Like what the play calling looked like when he had a guy who played under center. That was there was no thoughts of Minshew being the guy, but just those little nuances. Like, because Hurts tends to play more pistol or shotgun. Does the play calling change with a guy under center? That was what I wanted to see. But at no point did we ever discuss Gardner Minshew being like a viable starter long term.
This city will. There are going to be fans in the city that always want the backup quarterback in.
Absolutely.
No matter who the backup quarterback is. And the fact that the backup quarterback in this city won a Super Bowl and is now, has a statue downtown. That just, that just pretty much validates that way of thinking. But nonetheless, this is still week 1 going into week 2. And Breezy, I circle this back to you. What do you need to see, building on what we saw game 1? What do you need to see from Jalen Hurts and this offense?
I need them to start a little faster. You would think that the first drive of the game is scripted plays that they can just go up tempo and score. Mm-hmm. And I think that the Eagles offense started off a little bit slow. But they made the adjustments, they got the ball rolling and it's kind of off to the races after that. But I need faster starts than what I saw last week. We'll talk about the defense a little bit later because
let's talk about it now. Let's go. I mean, because you saw just like 35 points to the Lions.
Yeah, the fact that Jared Goff even had rushing yards, like, that irritated me. There's certain players that you just don't want to see run because they look weird. Mm-hmm. Jared Goff is one of those players to me. Like, you should never see him run for a first down. Like, it's weird because it doesn't happen that often. Mm. And the fact that it happened against our defense, like, I was annoyed. And then all of these yards given up to the running backs and players missing tackles. Like, there should have been more tackles for a loss than what we actually saw.
Well, if you're thinking about the running game, it was an interesting stat I heard. As JB, you'll be my witness on this. What was it? October-ish, November-ish last year. Mm-hmm. I started telling you there was a player I wanted the Eagles to draft. One Jordan Davis. And so when we got him, I was quite excited.
Yes. That is true. You had your eyes on Davis early. Yes.
And what was interesting was that when he was on the field, they gave up, I believe it was 2.9 yards per carry to the Lions.
Yep.
When he was off the field, it was about 10 yards per carry to the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And after the game, Gannon says he didn't see any correlation between the Lions' effectiveness running the ball and Jordan Davis being on the field. How do you feel about Gannon?
He's an idiot.
There we go.
He's an idiot. There's a lot of things that I feel like if he just didn't talk, like everything would be fine. But when he starts talking, he gets himself in trouble.
Mm-hmm. And there's a reason why coaches don't let their coordinators speak.
Right.
And keep their coordinators from media availability. And the reason is Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah. We saw, gosh, I can't even think of his name now. Our ex-defensive coordinator. He only talked
Jim Schwartz.
Yeah. He only talked like once every 2 weeks. And that worked for me. Because I don't want to hear your explanation on why so-and-so didn't play, why, the defense was different because this person was in the game and this person wasn't. I don't want to hear it. Just make the adjustments. Fix the problem. I don't need you to explain to me. I saw it. So when Jonathan Gannon gets on the mic and he starts talking about how he didn't see the correlation between getting 2 yards per attempt to a first down every attempt. No, now you got to have your head coach come out to clarify what you said. And I don't think no. No, Jonathan Gannon is an idiot. He's an idiot. And if this defense doesn't thrive the way that they can, because now he has the players where he has an open playbook, he can do whatever he wants with this defense.
Mm.
And he chooses to not have the first round draft pick in the game more to stuff the run. I don't get it.
Of 5 defensive tackles on the roster that were active, he played the 5th most snaps.
No. I need him up. I need him like second or third.
So Cox, Hargraves, and Davis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's
why not?
You draft people in the first round of play.
Right.
In fact, like to me, the only time you're talking about a first round draft pick not necessarily playing right out the bat is maybe a quarterback if your team already has a quarterback in tow. Maybe. But any other position player, unless there's just a bona fide absolute stud ahead of you. And at this point in time, that guy's not on the Eagles roster. That's what I need to see. So, that being said, Monday night football. What are your expectations for the game?
Well, obviously, I want them to put up, 30, 40 points. I think it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they have to stay consistent. The defense can't get gassed in the second quarter. Your offense needs to start fast and stay fast because you know that can gas an opposing team's defense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it happen, So I need up tempo. I need the running backs to be used tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
I need Hurts to stay upright. That offensive line has to protect him. And, I need just everything to be on point. There's not a lot of games where all 3 phases of the game are on point, but that's what I need on Monday night.
That being said, all right, predictions. I'll start with you, Jonesy. What are you saying for Monday?
Can I go last?
No. How you going to ask to go last when I just asked you first?
Because I want to go last.
Oh, God.
All right. What did I say last week? Because I was wrong.
That's normal. That's why you don't bet. You're always wrong.
Oh, geez.
Well, that is true too. I do call a lot for a guy with his own podcast. I am wrong a lot, but but it is what it is. I like the number 27. Once again, I'll go 27-24 Eagles.
All right. I will go 35-17 Eagles.
And I wanted to go last because I'm not picking the Eagles.
What?
I want the Eagles to win.
Uh-huh.
But what I saw from Gannon's defense last week and what I saw from the Vikings offense last week, I think this is going to be the game that forces Gannon to look himself in the mirror and make some adjustments or lose his job. Because I think his scheme, his lack of aggression is going to get exposed this week, letting Kirk Cousins get too comfortable in the pocket and you give up too many points. I see this one 38-27 Minnesota.
So you trust primetime Kirk Cousins?
No.
Or you just have no faith in the defense?
I have no faith in Gannon to call a good defensive game. I think this is the game that's going to force him to become more aggressive. He's going to have to do some things because he doesn't bring extra pressure ever.
That is
right.
true.
Like ever. I mean, whether
and
it's
what did you bring Hassan Reddick here for?
My point exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to use these guys in a way that maximizes their abilities.
Mhm.
And the same way last season, there was a stretch where Fletcher Cox had to go to him and tell him, I don't like the way I'm being used, before we start to see some things change. I think
That
there's
was
going
funny. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie. I laughed. I laughed when Fletcher Cox was like, I'm not here to chase running backs in a bubble screen. Like, I'm
to
here to sack the quarterback. Fix it.
exactly. And I think this might be the game this season that forces Gannon to reevaluate some stuff and how he's using some players.
Better get
So
it out the way early.
exactly.
Better do it now, week 2, and hopefully ride that wave to the end of the season. 38-20. That's painful, man. You should have went first. You should have just let it. I
Right.
don't know why you couldn't.
Why go last?
Exactly. Why you choose to go last and let that be how we end the show? Man, whatever. Brianna, aka Breezy, how can people reach you?
You can follow me on Twitter at yourhost_Breezy. You can follow me on Instagram at Sports and Stilettos Podcast. And you can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify.
Okay, when's your next show coming out? When you release your next show?
Should be tomorrow.
Okay. New
Should
new
be.
show. It should be tomorrow, but
Listen,
hey.
Life happens. Okay.
Life
Mhm.
happens.
I can't.
It's still Friday.
Yeah. So hopefully tomorrow.
All right.
Well, we'll be looking forward to it whenever it comes out.
Look, Breezy
I
gonna get your
appreciate
money
it.
right. Breezy gonna get your money right. All right. You listen to her. You listen to what's. You'll be all right.
Yeah. See me about college football on Saturday. See me about that. Yeah.
That might happen. I might have to get some coins up, try and figure this out. And I say all this, and then I'll hit you guys up on Monday. I ain't make no bets. I did. I looked at it though. It is what it is. Whatever. Brianna, aka Breezy from the Sports and Stilettos Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate you. All right, we're gonna have you back sometime. All right.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Once again, that was Breezy, a.k.a. Brianna. Sports and Stilettos, man. That was good stuff, bro. 38-27. I should hang up on you, bro. I really should, man.
Go ahead. Show's over.
Show is over. Either way. Hey, look, man, once again, you can find us wherever you download your podcast. Just go to bitwsports.com. Or you can hit us up social media at BITW Sports or at Jonesy and Brown. My name is Brown. That's Mike Jones. Final thoughts?
No. I don't feel good about this game this week. I don't.
Oh goodness, whatever, man. Look, we'll see how you're feeling next week.
It's not the whole season. There's some stuff that has to be cleaned up. I expect the team to get better as the year goes. I just don't think this is going to be the week for us.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we'll see next week. We'll see where our mood is next week. Maybe one of us is convinced. Maybe both of us are ready to jump off the bandwagon. We'll see. Either way, thank you for joining us for the Jonesy and Brown podcast. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace, y'all.